Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel, Soul Therapy Cafe, where we give the tea and the sparkle. And today I'm going to do just that. And I'm talking about self-love. Okay, so you have all heard it. Self-love, self-love, self-love. That seems to be the latest catch phrase these days. And it's important, definitely. And I want to talk to you about self-love and what that looks like, because a lot of us really did not grow up around self-love. We thought, or we believe, that love is something that we receive from others. There was never any talk in any faith or any household that I knew about where you were encouraged to put that love back on yourself. That same love that you gave out, you gave it to others. And what I want to say is that, like, what does it look like? Like, how do you know? And we all say, yeah, I love myself. I love myself. I appreciate myself. And I've said this before, but do we really? I mean, how could we miss that, right? Some of us love ourselves more than others, to be honest. And some of us have to really learn to love ourselves, because no one ever taught us what self-love is. It's never anything that they talk about, because it's very, very, it really empowers you, because when you love yourself wholeheartedly, then it's possible. Like, anything is possible, really. But talking about magnifying that, because that which you desire, you must be, really. You must embody that. So a lot of us receive other things other than love. It kind of mimics love. It's kind of like love. It might have some ingredients of love, but it's not real love. Unconditional love is what I'm talking about. And so today I'm talking about self-love, because I think a lot of us, what I'm hearing is, we sabotage ourselves because we never learned to love ourselves, and we never saw what self-love is all about, because it was always something that we were encouraged to give to others. But really, it's the other way around. It's you got to give to yourself first before you can give to others, okay? And so what does that look like? And for many of us, it looks differently, right? Now, I made a sort of a pact with myself really lately. I said, because we're all on this journey, this divine journey, where we are loving ourselves and learning to love ourselves, learning to be true to ourselves, and understanding that, what real, genuine self-love looks like. We all say, yeah, I love myself, but really, maybe that's a certain kind of love, or a level of love, but is it really unconditional love? Because I believe that everyone deserves unconditional love. And a lot of people have been talking about it, but what is it? Because I think some of us have different rules and definitions and sort of emotions around what self-love is. And as we're on this divine journey, we are learning to kind of unearth who we really are, all of those myths and all of those sort of limited beliefs that we grew up around. We're having to define self-love and what it means to us as individuals, not necessarily what we have been taught, right? And so with that said, it might look a little bit differently to different people, but it's definitely a journey. It's not just one phrase or one incident or whatever. It's I believe, an ever evolving sort of a journey, where you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think it is true that really you have to love yourself first before you can possibly learn to love someone else. At least true, authentic, unconditional love I'm talking about, not that surface stuff. When I say surface stuff, I mean that stuff it changes based on the conditions surrounding it, for some people it might be well, as long as the things are cool, things are good, then yeah, I'm loving you hard. But when things get funky, well, I don't know, I might change the way I feel about you, and that's not unconditional love. And we all deserve unconditional love, and we desire it, but really the unconditional love, what I'm learning on my divine journey, is that it must first be for yourself. No matter if you make a mistake, or if you gain a few pounds, or if you have no money, or if you mess up, or if somebody leaves you, or the things that you once used to define yourself, you no longer have, which really can be like a true blessing in itself, okay? But that's for another video. So I really want to talk to you about really creating this, and what I'm learning on my journey as well. It's like, no matter what, first, I think there are, like, you know, several like key points of distinction when we're talking about, you know, self-love, and because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it like it just kind of like fell out of the sky, like, you know, recently, right? But it's so the Holy Grail, and I've talked about it before in other videos as well, but it's an ever evolving sort of like rose. You know, we keep like peeling back the layers or the petals, in this case of the flower, and it's constantly evolving and changing over time. And what it looks like for different people may be different, okay? Because we are all on our divine journey or journeys, and we are at different places on the journey. And some of us might like ourselves sometimes, and some of us might love ourselves, but conditionally, you know, depends on what day, depends on, you know, who you're with, or how much money you have, or whatever, you know. It just kind of depends, but it should be like unconditional, right? No matter what happens, because really that unconditional love is like the Holy Grail. And how do we get there? Because we're like never really like taught that. At least I wasn't, you know. If you were, you know, let me know. But at the end of the day, you know, just really understanding and accepting yourself for who you are, where you are on your journey. And me too, you know, because I'm just like everybody else. I'm ever evolving and growing and trusting myself, because to be honest with you, I really grew up like not so differently from everybody else, especially in traumatic situations, you know, where, you know, I am not feeling supported, not feeling or being taught what true unconditional like love is, you know, but having to like really learn to love yourself unconditionally so that you can receive it. Because as long as we are not loving ourselves unconditionally, we will probably never really receive unconditional love. And you know, unconditional love really is no matter what happens, no matter what you do, you will still receive love. And it almost seems like, you know, like God-like, you know, or spirit-like, you know. It's like, but can a human being like possibly give you unconditional love no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what changes, they still like love you? I think so. I mean, the love does change, you know. It doesn't mean that, you know, the way they love you yesterday is the way they're going to love you in the future. Love is ever evolving, I think. What I'm trying to say is that really understanding to love and accept, okay? Acceptance is key as well. Acceptance is love. So with that said, you know, on this divine journey, it's like, listen, you know, I want to hear from you, like this sort of like unconditional thing. Like, what part of that are you at? Like, are you in the beginning of this, like, you know, self-love journey? Are you accepting yourself? Are you getting to know yourself? Because a lot of us really, you know, we believe that we were somebody else until you start to like do, you know, a little bit of self-reflection and understand more about who you are, so that you can actually give unconditional love to yourself. And unconditional love is sort of like a buzz kind of catchphrase these days. It's like unconditionally, unconditional. Like, what does that mean? Unconditional. That means that no matter what is going on, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much weight you picked up, no matter who loves you, who doesn't love you, or what's going on in your world, it's like you have love for yourself. No matter what mistakes that you make. And that's kind of like, what? Wait a second, you know, because we do like change our feelings about ourselves like every day, you know. But there's certain things that stand the test of time no matter what. And you will never surrender. You will never abandon yourself no matter what you do. You know, and this is really important. This is the kind of love that we have to got to give to ourselves, you know, on this journey. And it's the kind of love that we must learn, first of all, like, what is this sort of unconditional love, especially in certain areas? Because a lot of us have standards. I know I do. And certain things that I have done in my life, like, you know, a few things here and there, I'm like, oh, I can't believe you did that, you know. But then I have to forgive myself and still like love myself. So it doesn't mean like for a week or so I don't like love myself. It just means that, you know, I have to reflect and I must kind of pull back and say, maybe I shouldn't have done it that way. I shouldn't have said that, but I'm gonna let it go, you know, and examine it and move forward and maybe do it a little bit differently. But just kind of examine like why I did that. And so, you know, since we're talking about self-love and reflection and all that kind of thing, it's like we should be, to me, okay, let me just back up here. Let me say this, because there's so much I want to say, is that no matter what, unconditional love, right? Firstly, is the love that we give ourselves. And on this divine journey, we are learning what it is, because a lot of us, I think 99.99 of us, never really see or experience unconditional love in our lives. And if you are part of that small percentage, then, you know, you are very, very, very fortunate. But, you know, with that said, it's like, you know, things have always been a little bit conditional. And I want to put this out there to you, like, how are you loving, or what ways are you loving yourself, like, unconditionally, no matter what? Because how do you attract, you know, unconditional love? I mean, everybody wants unconditional love, but do you love yourself unconditionally? Like, really? I mean, usually we put some, you know, we're like our worst enemy sometimes. You love yourself, yeah, but this must be in place, or that must be in place, or you mustn't do this, or you love yourself more when this happens, you know. But what does this like look like, this unconditional love? I mean, and really, like, not just the words, but like, what does it look like for you? Because self-love, you know, is unconditional, right? And then we all like want it, you know, no matter how we mess up, no matter how we look, no matter how much abundance we have, you know, we want people to love us, you know, and forgive us if things don't happen. But we must first give that to ourselves, right? I mean, unconditionally. And we have all these conditions. Yeah, but if it's good, or, you know, if it's the way I like, or, you know, it's like, no. Unconditional is no matter what happens, really, like having that self-love no matter what, even through the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I've talked about this before on the channel, and it's an ever evolving rose, let's put it that way, because there's different layers and we're getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like this love affair with yourself, where you are really understanding yourself, and you're getting to know yourself in a much deeper way, not just surface or what like people tell you, you know. You're reflecting on yourself, for yourself, not based on what's happening in your life, or what, you know, what relationship you're in, or who said what, or how much money you have, and that kind of thing. But, you know, like what that looks like, and it changes just like any other relationship. You know, you might be focused on, like, you know, maybe how you talk to yourself, you know, that self-talk. Or, you know, like some of us, especially women, but men too, we look in the mirror and we don't like what we see. You know, we're just constantly like saying, oh, but I don't like this. And even if we're recognizing that we are having this self-talk, many of us are, you know. I mean, every day should be a good day when you look in the mirror, you know. Every day should be sunshine, but it could always be better, right? Or you can say, you know what? If it's not where I want to be, every day I'm getting better and better. Just that kind of talk to yourself. It's like loving yourself unconditionally. So this whole self-love paradigm is like a lifelong relationship with how you feel about yourself. It's not just based on like today, or if something happens, or how much money I have, or what kind of relationship I'm in, or where I'm living, or what's special event is happening in my life. It should be like no matter what's going on, you know? And I believe that many of us are like never like taught that, but we must learn to give ourselves that which we desire, you know? And we're all on this like journey, and it's ever evolving, just like a rose. And so I know I'm kind of like, you know, going on and on with that, but it's just like coming, it's just coming, it's just coming out, you know? And it's like, are you feeling like the more that you know yourself and you're being true to yourself, like not being what society or your, you know, your partner or says, or your, you know, how much money you have or what season it is in your life, is that determining like how you like love yourself? You know, and I know that this is a relationship, but yeah, this is a conversation that we need to, I believe, constantly have with ourselves. You know, is my love for myself conditional? Meaning, is it based on what's happening and how I feel and what's being projected to me on the outside of me? Because we know that self-love is an inside job. No matter what's happening, I'm like, you know, I'm not going to abandon myself. You know, I love and accept myself. And sometimes I have to admit, you know, I might not feel love, but at least I like, you know, and that's like a form of love. Some days I'm madly in love with myself, and some days I'm like, okay, girl, it's okay, it's all right, you know, we're gonna work on that, you know. But really having some sort of affection for yourself and not abandoning yourself or not sabotaging yourself, really, that's like, that would be like the opposite of self-love. You're inflicting harm on yourself, and love is not about that. So just putting it out there, just let me know how you feel and what's going on with you in the comments, because this is about this divine journey, and we are always like this ever evolving, like, you know, unfolding of like this rose with many layers and many petals. And, you know, some of them we're picking out, some of them were just, it's just like beautiful. And some of us, like, you know, like, or like that rose, it smells so fragrant and beautiful, you know, and some of us have no fragrance at all, you know, we're just like beautiful. So I want to know, you know, how you're reflecting on your own like self-love like journey. And this is a conversation for like all seasons and for everybody, because it is a constant, it is a journey, because we are healing so much, not just from our own experiences in romantic relationships, but also, you know, the relationship that we have with ourselves, the one relationship that we had with our caretakers, like growing up, you know, and some things we have to leave behind and heal. And sometimes we have to really learn new ways, you know, but also a lot of us have inherited things from, you know, our predecessors, our ancestors, you know, from other lifetimes as well. It's like things are passed down generationally that we inherit. And how are we like demystifying those myths? You know, how are we truly like loving ourselves? And some of it we can like, you know, I mean, let's be honest, we don't have to throw away, you know, the baby with the bathwater, so to speak. But some things that are really, you know, not truth, but just really myth. And like, how do we kind of demystify that and take the truths and the realities of it all? Because a lot of us are fed like stories that really do not honor who we are. Okay, so how are we distinguishing between the truth and the falsehoods of who we are and how we are loving ourselves? And I want to know, like, really, how important is it, you know, like on your journey to really practice and to really uncover, you know, like what true self-love like really means? Because I've heard it put in so many different ways, like, you know, self-love means this, it means that, but it's a constant evolution, you know. And I want to know from you, like, what your self-love journey right now, what it feels like, or what's going on. Like, how are you like leaving some old stories, old myths behind that you used to believe in that no longer serve you? How are you letting these stories go, you know? And what are you doing that's really working for you in terms of self-love practices? What are you doing differently now I want to hear from you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or share. I'll see you on the next go around.